All right, just a big challenge this week, getting back at it with the road trip up here to Maryland. The biggest thing about Maryland, first of all, they're 5-2, and they're having a good season. They need one more win to get bowl eligible, and obviously they've got this thing going back in the right direction. Huge win earlier in the year over West Virginia. The biggest thing, they're coming off a tough loss just like we are. Didn't play very well in their last game. We didn't either. And then, but they're undefeated at home. They've been a little bit of a different team at home, and, we know very well, how tough it is to go up there and win. A couple of years ago, we were up there, and, we had to have a great comeback to win that ball game. Just like I tell our guys every week, when we come to town, there's going to be a big crowd. We're going to get everybody's best effort, and we got to match that. And so that's what I expect from our guys, and I don't expect anything less than a great ball game from Maryland. It's a little bit of a challenge right now as far as focusing on those guys in that they got a lot of injuries, and there's a lot of question marks on, who's going to be where, who's playing what, just because of, several key guys, unfortunately, that they've lost from their football team. And so a little bit of unknown from a personnel standpoint. Schematically, obviously we see who they are, but they've got some new guys that they'll be putting in position. They've got a lot of injuries, some guys that we don't know if they'll be back or not sure about their running back, not sure who they're going to start at quarterback. They've got a couple guys maybe coming back on defense, maybe not. So we'll just have to wait till later in the week before we know exactly. But defensively, they got a good scheme. They're giving up only 124 yards rushing, just over 3 yards a carry. Again, injuries have hurt their continuity as of late, but a very solid group over there. Offensively, their quarterback, 16, is a guy that really hurt us a couple years ago, and he's back, and he's played some good ball for them. Didn't have his best game last week at Wake. 7 came in and really kind of sparked him, and 7 also was the guy that got the win against Virginia up there at home as well. He's a player that we know as he's from this state. 2 good running backs. Some questions at their wideout position, as they lost 2 really, really good players there last week. So how they're going to fit those guys, who's going to play where. I'm sure they're figuring that out themselves this week. Good punter, good kicker. Got one of the better return guys in the league. A little corner that they have. He's done a good job for them. I assume he'll be their kick return guy and their punt return guy this week, with Diggs being out. But the biggest thing is really just Clemson and us getting back to work. Our guys are eager to play again, and I think that's a good sign. And anytime you lose a ball game, you wish you could play again tomorrow. And that's the one bad thing about football that's different from basketball or baseball. They lose one, they just roll back out there the next night and go play. But we don't, we got to wait a whole week to get a chance to go and, prove that we're better than the way we played last time out. So big opportunity for us, trying to get a 7th win. And, we've got a chance to get our 7th win away from home in a row. And that would be a great accomplishment for this team and our program. That'd be the longest streak in 35 years. And that's something that would be a great achievement to show that type of consistency. Not just winning here at home with high consistency, but also winning with some consistency on the road. But proud of our team for how they've responded. Everybody is taking good accountability. We've got to take great pride in our preparation and really just have enough guys consistently perform to the standard that we've set. 11 guys play in and play out, and if we do that, then we're going to be okay. With that, I'll take your questions.
Coach, the last few weeks offensively, ball security has been an issue. You addressed at the end of last game. What are you working on this week to maybe help things go smoother from an offensive standpoint?
Well, I think my message to the staff is let's major in the minors this week. I mean, literally, stance, starts, footwork, ball handling. Let's treat them like they don't know anything, and let's just go back and major in the minors. And I think that's sometimes something that you have to do just to get that consistency. Sometimes I think you get a veteran group and they know. We got a lot of guys who know a lot of football offensively, and sometimes you start taking some of the little things for granted, but it's the little things that lead to the big things, and we've got to get those little things corrected so that we can do the big things, and that's score in the red zone like I know how we're capable of, and being the type of third down team that I know that we are. So that's my message this week. Let's major in the minors, and let's get back to really being fundamentally sound. And we got to get 11 guys. And I wish I could just say it was one thing, but it's not. It's just it's like a symptom, and we got to cure it. We got to find 11 guys that will consistently do their job. But none of that matters if you don't take care of the football. And that's what we pride ourselves on. We've had a bad little run here last couple of ball games, but in particular the last one. I mean, you can't beat anybody turning the ball over 4 times and not at one of them you just give them a score, just spot it. You can't win. And you certainly can't beat a team like Florida State when you make those type of mistakes. Hard to overcome. Really hard to overcome.
Chad was pretty frustrated with the entire offense yesterday, and not just for the one Florida State game. He said Brandon Thomas playing well, the other 10 positions not. Do you take it any more seriously this week as far as evaluating individual positions and whether?
Well, I think that's probably maybe a little over the top, but that's the coordinator that takes a lot of pride in his performance, and that's a little frustration. You can't, what do you say, throw the baby out with the wash? Is that the old saying? It ain't all bad, all right? Brandon Thomas is playing some really good football. Ryan Norton has played really good football for us. We got a lot of guys that have, Secondger's had a heck of a year for us. I mean, he's going to want to forget the other night. But, I had a guy call in last night, mad we got 81 in the game. I'm like, his name's Stanton Seconder. He's had a heck of a year for us, and he had a bad night. Sometimes we all have bad nights, bad days, and he takes a lot of pride. And nobody was hurting more than that kid. He'll come back. He's had a good year. He really has. I think if we all go back to the summer and we see the year that Stanton Seconder's had, I think we ought to be pretty pleased. Disappointed in the other night. Adam Humphries has had a great year. He's playing pretty good football for us, pretty consistent. Sammy, I thought, played pretty doggone good the other night. Played physical, tried to do some things that we needed him to do. We got a lot of guys that are doing good things. It ain't all bad, but from Chad's standpoint, he's y'all know how he is. I mean, he's a perfectionist. That's why he's good at what he does, and he takes a lot of pride in in his unit. And we have not had the consistency. And again, it's not one thing. It's been this week, that week, overcome some injuries, a little, lack of continuity at times. But our quarterback has been a little inconsistent at times, and then really, really, really good at times. So just every position. So we just got to get back to being who we are. We're still one of the best offenses in the country. Heck, we're 17-3 in our last 20 ball games. So ain't nobody going to, just throw everybody out the window here. And the 3 losses have been to 3 good teams, so we've won a bunch of games, and we'll get it fixed. We'll play better. We'll play better. But we got it. For me, it's let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to the fundamentals. The little things. The little things, because that's what we've been messing up. It's just like a couple ball games, BC. Heck, we put the ball on the ground and exchange 3 times, just exchange. And so, we've got to, I think, just go back and refocus a little bit some key things that make us a good football team.
Is there some concerns, though, with especially in the red zone, that your top 2 running backs only have 2 combined touchdowns at this point in the season?
I think just we're not doing a good job in the red zone, period. I think it's a combination of things. I don't really care who scores, to be honest with you, as long as we score. I don't care if it's the quarterback, the wide out, the tight end, the running back. That doesn't matter to me. I just want to score. And, that's what we've been really, really good at. Last year, I think we led the nation in red zone scoring. And right now, we've missed some opportunities. We've missed some really big opportunities. We had 2 field goal opportunities. We've had a couple of downs situations. So, and that's affected us a little bit.
What does concern you, though? Is there, other than the detail things, is there a broad area that you just say, we're not doing a real good job here?
Just the consistency in performance, attention to details. That's it. I mean, intelligence should be our competitive advantage. We should be, and we are. But we're not playing intelligent right now, offensively. And that's the frustrating thing to me. Just being intelligent, that should be the competitive advantage for us. We've got a lot of experience with our group, and so I think that's why, again, I think we need to go back and just, all right, let's retool these guys, refocus them a little bit on some of the basics. We've been doing a lot of calculus. Let's go back and do some arithmetic and get them dialed back in a little bit on the fundamentals of some things. And the guys, they're going to respond. They're going to do well. We got to, like I said, I have no reason to think they won't respond because they always do. And this is a hurting football team, and I love that. I mean, that's we're going to be okay because they care. They care. Nobody cares more than these players. They're the ones who put all the work in.
The mistakes were costly, no question about it. But having been in the stadium Saturday night and then watching the film Sunday, it's hard to say, are they better than you thought they were?
No, I thought they were a great football team. I think they're a team. If we played them 10 times, we'd probably win 5. They'd probably win 5. I think it's probably about where it is. And that's not taking anything away from them. They played a heck of a game, and we certainly didn't give ourselves a chance. We didn't give our fans a chance. I mean, you just, again, you can't make those mistakes and even really assess it as far as where you are competitively. But I think that they've got a couple of areas that they're a little bit ahead of us that I think we're going to catch up. But I think pretty evenly matched football teams, and we didn't play well. It didn't go our way, but they're not that much better than us, and we certainly ain't that bad of a football team. There's no doubt about that. But they're really, really good. They're one of the best teams in the country. As I said going into it, they might be the best team in the country. They very well could be. We'll find out. But they don't have a lot of weaknesses. They're good up front on both sides. So are we. They're good at backers. So are we. They're good at receivers. So are we. They're good at quarterbacks. So are we. They've got a little bit more depth at running back than maybe we have right now from a just overall standpoint. A little more depth in the secondary than we have right now. I think we're coming. We're going to get there. We're going to be really good in the secondary the next few years. We're going to be really good. We're coming there. But I think we're both good at kicker, both good at punter. So, we're similar programs. But it wasn't our night the other night, and you got to give them all the credit for that.
Was it disappointing to see that there was no real second receiver the other night to really step up? You had Sammy do what Sammy does, but nobody else really kind of stepped up.
Well, I mean, it's you can't really put that all on the receiver. There's a lot of things that go into that style of play because of the way the score went, the way the game went. I think if it could have been a normal type of situation, things would have been different. But schematically, things changed a little bit. From a coverage standpoint, and we just never could get the continuity, never could get into any type of rhythm. Missed a couple opportunities. Our quarterback didn't play very good. So, all those things affect the overall outcome. You can just sit here. It was bad. It was bad. Not any one thing. It was just all bad. And because of that, the coaching was bad, because ultimately it all comes back to us and to me as coaches. And that's exactly what I told our team. So, everybody just, you suck it up, you take the accountability for it, and let's go back to work. You learn, you put the tape on, you hate to watch it, but we got to play tougher, smarter, and we certainly got to, get back to doing what we do best, and that's taking care of the football if we're going to have a chance to be a great team. And we still have a chance to be a great team. I think we're a great team now, but we got to go and finish that way.
With Michelle's first half suspension, how will his reps be divvied up during practice?
Cordray will start really taking a lot of work at corner, and there's one of those guys that I'm really excited about. He hasn't really gotten in the mix as much because of the play. We've had pretty good depth at corner, and those guys have played really well. But now with Peters out for another game, we'll see where he is. I expect him to be back by the time we play Georgia Tech, but he thinks he's playing next week, but I doubt it. But we'll see. But I do think he'll be back by the time we play Georgia Tech. But with him out, and now Breland out for a half anyway, we got to have some more help there. So Cordray will get a lot of opportunity. He's long. He can run. He's one of the fastest kids we got. He's a very conscientious guy. He's tough. And so, he's just a young guy that's going to get an opportunity. So we'll see how he does. And then Martin, we'll play corner, and we can always slide him in. Corinne has got good experience at nickel, and that's who we'll go with.
So Bashad,
Got 3 guys at corner right now. Bashad will be back second half. So
will he practice just as normal?
Yeah.
As usual?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is this a week where Martin's toughness is that much more valuable just because this is a week where he's
Well, it's not just his toughness, it's his intelligence. He's just a smart, conscientious, give you every ounce of what he has football player. And he's one of those guys, when the game is over, you walk off the field, and you turn on the film, that you got everything that kid had. He's one of those guys, like Shuey. Shuey may not always play good, but you got every ounce of what he had that day. And you love guys like that, and just smart. Martin is incredibly smart.
Coach, is it tough to maybe refocus or get the guys back after the talk leading up to this game and what was at stake? You guys were pursuing national title, division, conference, and some of that's out the window now, at least for the moment. Is it tough to get these guys to refocus and motivate, or do you think there's so much for them to learn and get back to that's easy for them to focus on and not worry about what was just lost from a national standpoint?
Well, I think that's the maturity of your team. This is a team that we got some experience in our junior and senior group, and you rely on those guys. Sure, you want everybody to be disappointed. You don't want nobody to be happy. You lost a huge ball game, but at the end of the day, it's just one game, and it's one game, and you can't sit around and fret and pout over what could have been. You got to really focus on what still can be, and there's a long list of things that still can be for this team that we are in total control of. Now, the things in front of us, well, we don't control that. All right, but at the end of the day, we're a top 10 football team. We've been in the top 15 for a long time now. I don't know how long we've been ranked in the top 15. This team has been pretty consistent, and the reason is because they get it. And they've handled the success good, and when we've had some setbacks, they've handled those things good. And that's why we've been able to stay consistent. Again, last 20 games we're 17-3, and we've won a bunch of games on the road. We've won some top 10 matchup type games. We've lost 3 top 10 games in the last 20, but we won several too. So you just proud of our guys. That was our 9th top 10 game and our 4th top 10 game in our last 9 games. It's disappointing that we lost the game and that we didn't play good, but I don't have any reason to think that these guys won't bounce back. Again, it's the maturity of your team, And they got a lot to play for. And that's what you try to do. You try to refocus them on, hey, here's what we do control, because that's what matters. You know, heck, we hadn't had back-to-back 10-plus win seasons around here since I was in high school. We haven't had back-to-back 11-win seasons in the history of this school, ever. So there's a lot for this football team to still strive for as we continue to build our program. And this is college football, where the unthinkable happens. So anything can happen. Who knows? We're sitting here. I mean, we're getting ready to play our last game in October, going into November, and we're a top 10 team in the country, and nobody's going to pout about that. Nobody's going to put their head down on that and cry about that. And nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We're going to go on the road, and we're going to get a tremendous effort from Maryland. And, we're going to show up, and we're going to try to play our best ball game of the year. See if we can get a 7th win. That's what we're trying to do.
As a coach, when you see that some of your players may be timid, or they look timid, or maybe tight, what do you say to them?
Just coach them. I mean, you point it out on film. I mean, they see. And then you just address it, and you try to refocus them in practice, get them loose, go back and create that confidence in practice. I mean, you have to create situations in practice so that they can kind of regain their confidence if you got a guy that's shaking a little bit. Like this week, like a guy like Seckinger. I mean, he's had a great year for us. He's coming off a bad game. And you know what? We go right back out there. We go right back to those fundamentals. We put him back in those situations. And our team pass good on good, our Skelly good on good, our inside drill good on good. And, you show them the good things too. And you try not to focus on that stuff. You learn from it. You say, well, here's why. And then you ask questions, and then you move on.
Because of the way college football works, where every game, even in October, means so much for the entire season, does that magnify the higher you get, the harder the fall, or at least from the outside?
I think that's what makes college football great, in my opinion. That's what, I've never been a playoff guy. I know we got a lot of coaches out there that want to go to NFL-style playoff. I've never been for that, just because I think it changes that mentality. We lost the game. Heck, that's all right. We'll get next week. We're just trying to get in the playoffs. And I hate that. I do. As opposed to, man, every game matters. Although I like what this 4-team deal, I think that's going to just make what's already a good situation even better. Going to make it a little more fun, add a little more juice to it, and it's not extending the season, way out and all that kind of stuff. I think that's good. But I love the fact that every game means a lot, and that you can't just say, well, heck, that's all right. We're still, we can still lose another one and still make the playoffs. And when we get in the playoffs, then we're really going to play. I don't like that mentality.